So 11.1 was all the information from Chapter 9, which was the purchases journal and cash payments. Now 11-2, we're going to learn about the sales journal and the cash receipts and how to post into those ledgers. So a partial sales and cash receipts journal for Graphics Incorporated is given below, and we're going to work through to do the posting just like in 11.1. So instruction number 1, start a new page for the accounts receivable ledger account for Brandy Sparks. The account number is 140 and the balance on October 1st of the current year is $212. So just like we did before, we're going to go into the Brandy Sparks and we're going to open up her account. So just start typing the information given in the instructions. Remember, in the balance, because it's a balance brought forward, we write the word balance and we put the check mark or the V, since we're not going to be, we didn't get this from any certain ledger or journal, I should say, and our balance just goes into the balance column. Instructions number 2, post the accounts receivable debit entry on line 5 of the sales journal to the accounts receivable account for Brandy Sparks. So we already have Brandy Sparks open. Now we have to open up our sales journal. So up here we go to sales journal and we're looking at line 5 on the 20th for Brandy Sparks. So in this particular journal we're only looking at the accounts receivable debit now. So we made a sale on account and this person owes us $576.64. So we're going to plug in the date, the 20th. Post reference, we got it from Sales Journal number 10, so it's S10. And again, it's accounts receivable debit, so we are in the debit column, 576.64. And we have a debit entry and a debit current running balance, so we are going to add those two numbers together. So now Brandy Sparks is going to owe us $788.64. Since we added those two numbers together. We take this 140, we plug it in here to show that it has been posted. On to instruction 3, post the accounts receivable credit entry on line 9 of the cash receipts journal to the accounts receivable account for Alfredo Lopez. So we're going to be opening up the cash receipts journal and Alfredo Lopez. So up here, cash receipts, and down here, Alfredo Lopez. So we can see here that we have the cash receipts journal. This is money coming in. So right here we're looking at the accounts receivable credit column for this particular posting. So we are going to take the date, plug it in down here. We're getting this from cash receipts. Cash receipts page 12. You can't see it, it's kind of cut off on mine, so we're just going to plug it in here. So it's CR12 and it's the amount in this credit column right here for $254.40. So we plug that number in for Alfredo for $254.40. So here it is, the $254.40, plugging it in here into the correct column, credit. And because we have a debit balance that's running and a credit entry, we have to subtract. So we're going to take the $1526.40, subtract that $254.40, and now we should have a balance in the column of $1272. And we take that $130, plug it in here to show it's been posted. On to instruction 4, post the credit entry on line 3 of the general journal to the accounts receivable for David Bishop. So we're going to open general journal and David Bishop. So here we're looking at line 3, accounts receivable David Bishop. Remember, we have that slash. Eventually we're going to show you that you're going to be posting to 2 spots, but for now we're just going to be worrying about David Bishop's column. So we're over here and we're looking at the line that lines up with him. So this 5512 that's a credit is what we're worried about. So the date here is the 12th. We're getting this from General Journal 11, so G11. Again, be careful to make sure you're in the right column. We're crediting this, so 5512 is credited. And because we have a normal running balance and the $55.12 is credited, we're going to be subtracting. So our current balance left is 183.38. 183.38. Lastly, again, last thing we always need to do is put that number in. I know some of you like to quickly put that number in, but that's the last step in the posting to make sure it just shows that you have posted that before you move on. Instruction 5, our last instruction, prepare a schedule of accounts receivable for Graphics Incorporated on October 31st of the current year. Accounts receivable balance in the general ledger, it should be $25.30.22. So just like we did before, we're going to take all the running balances now for all of these accounts and plug them in for our schedule of accounts receivable. So we just go down here, we plug in the name of the company. This is called a schedule of accounts receivable this time, and our date is still October 31st. So we're going to do these right in order. The first one was David, and we're looking at this last balance in the column, so 183.38. Next one down, Maria. Maria we didn't do anything with, so we just use this balance that's left here, 286.20. Next one, Alfredo. 1272. And our last girl, Brandy. 788.64. So we're going to put the total accounts receivable down here. We're going to add these four numbers together, and when we do, we get $25.30.22. So just double check our instructions to make sure we came up with the right amount. So $25.30.22 is what we should have ended up with, and that is what we got. So go ahead and finish up this 11-2 work together if you haven't already, and move on to 11-2 on your own.